When it comes to saving money on groceries, the Amish don't just pinch pennies, they cultivate them from the soil. The very foundation of Amish grocery savings starts with a powerful principle: grow it yourself or learn to live without it. Most Amish families maintain large, productive gardens that aren't just hobby plots. They're full-fledged food production zones. We're talking rows upon rows of potatoes, onions, carrots, green beans, corn, tomatoes, squash, and more. These aren't grown to complement store-bought food, they replace it almost entirely. Grocery stores, to many Amish, are emergency-only destinations. If it didn't come from the garden, it probably isn't on the dinner table. And because these gardens are passed down, maintained communally, and rely on traditional crop rotation, composting, and seed-saving methods, the cost to grow them is astonishingly low. No expensive fertilizers, no fancy watering systems, just rich soil, hard work, and God's timing. Children are taught from the earliest age to weed, water, and harvest. It's a family affair, and it fosters responsibility, teamwork, and deep gratitude for the food they eat. There's a saying among some Amish elders: "You shouldn't buy what the earth already gives you." That mentality alone eliminates a massive portion of the grocery budget most Americans spend without even thinking. In spring, every spare plot of land is tilled. In summer, the pantry begins to fill with nature's rewards. By autumn, it's not just harvest season, it's savings season. Every home is full of canned jars, root cellars bursting with produce, and baskets overflowing with produce that cost almost nothing but time, effort, and patience. The Amish pantry: canning, preserving, and never wasting a bite. Once the crops are grown, the Amish don't let anything go to waste. Their pantries are legendary, and for good reason. Every harvest is preserved with care, not just for taste, but for long-term survival. Canning is one of the most important skills passed down from Amish mothers to daughters, and it's not optional. It's essential. Every tomato becomes sauce, salsa, or stew base. Cucumbers become crunchy pickles. Fruits are transformed into jams, jellies, and pie fillings. Even meats are pressure canned to last through harsh winters. The Amish don't rely on modern freezers. They rely on generations of know-how and a wall of gleaming glass jars lined up like an edible calendar. Preserving food doesn't stop at canning. Amish households often dehydrate fruits and herbs, hang onions and garlic from ceiling hooks, and cure meats in cellars. Apple slices are laid out on homemade wooden racks in the sun. Corn is dried and ground for winter cornbread. They ferment cabbage into sauerkraut and turn excess milk into cheese, yogurt, and butter. What most Americans throw out without a second thought: soft apples, blemished tomatoes, or tough ends of carrots, the Amish find creative ways to use. Soups, broths, and stews become the final destination for leftovers. Not only does this save thousands of dollars a year, but it also ensures that every bite is free from unnecessary additives. It's clean, honest food, and the Amish wouldn't have it any other way. Buying in bulk: the Amish Costco-style economy. While many Amish avoid mainstream stores, that doesn't mean they avoid shopping altogether. When they do buy, they buy smart and in serious bulk. It's not uncommon to see an Amish buggy parked outside a bulk goods store like Gordon Food Service or local Mennonite-run co-ops that cater to their needs. They stock up on essentials like flour, sugar, oats, rice, baking soda, salt, and dried beans in quantities that would make the average shopper's jaw drop. We're talking 25 to 50-pound sacks, not for show, but because they use every grain. Buying in bulk allows them to slash their costs per unit and avoid the constant markups of smaller packaging. Their large pantries and basements are built for storage, filled with sealed bins, food-grade buckets, and shelves strong enough to hold hundreds of pounds. Families often buy together, splitting the costs of massive orders and dividing the supplies. It's a community-based version of wholesale shopping. Amish women are masters of meal planning. They know exactly how much flour they'll need to bake bread for the next 6 months, or how many pounds of oats will go into breakfast and baked goods for the whole family. Nothing is bought impulsively. Everything has a purpose. Even homemade snacks like granola, pies, and cookies start from bulk ingredients that cost pennies per serving. And when they run low, they don't go shopping like most people. They reach out to a cousin, neighbor, or church member who might have extra. It's an unspoken grocery co-op, deeply rooted in trust and mutual aid. For the Amish, bulk buying isn't just thrifty. It's part of a much larger system of self-sufficiency. Homemade everything, why Amish don't pay for what they can make. One of the most powerful and consistent ways the Amish save money on groceries is by eliminating the middleman completely. If something can be made at home, it is. Bread, noodles, pies, butter, cheese, ketchup, peanut butter, apple cider vinegar, even things like mayonnaise, granola, and powdered drink mixes are all made from scratch. Amish kitchens function more like miniature food factories than modern culinary spaces. With well-worn recipe books passed down for generations and a pantry stocked with homegrown or bulk-bought basics, Amish families whip up the things most people grab from a grocery shelf. And they do it better, cheaper, and often healthier. Take bread, for example. Most Amish homes bake fresh loaves daily or weekly, depending on the family size. With just a few cents worth of flour, yeast, and water, they produce what would cost several dollars per loaf at the store. Amish noodles are hand-cut and air-dried with nothing but flour and eggs. Jams and jellies come from their own fruit trees or berry patches. Sauces are brewed in enormous stock pots and canned for the year ahead. Even chips and snacks are homemade, like kettle-fried potato slices, popcorn with real butter, and cookies made in batches of dozens at a time. This make-it-yourself culture doesn't come from a Pinterest trend or a sudden urge for health. It comes from a deep-rooted philosophy of stewardship, simplicity, and self-reliance. Every item made at home means one less brand to depend on, one less price tag to pay, and one more layer of financial freedom. It's also a way to ensure quality. Amish families know exactly what goes into their food, and that peace of mind is priceless. Over the years, this habit of homemade living adds up to thousands of dollars in savings, not to mention a legacy of skills that no inflation can touch. Community sharing, the Amish grocery safety net. Among the Amish, saving money on groceries isn't just an individual or family pursuit. It's a communal way of life. One of their most powerful, yet often overlooked grocery saving secrets is how they rely on each other during times of need. If a family runs low on potatoes, another family who had a surplus will quietly deliver a sack without being asked. If someone is short on eggs, butter, or meat, word spreads through the community faster than gossip ever could, and someone always steps in. This isn't considered charity. It's the expected rhythm of Amish living. Today for you, tomorrow for me. Many districts even have informal food-sharing networks where multiple families raise chickens, pigs, and cows together, splitting the meat when animals are butchered. Milk is shared among neighbors, especially from those who own dairy cows. Amish mothers exchange homemade baked goods and canned goods during church or community gatherings. During harvest time, it's not uncommon for multiple families to work together to process hundreds of jars of tomatoes or peaches in a single day, splitting the results equally. This cooperative spirit turns every season into a kind of insurance policy. No family is ever truly alone in their grocery planning. This deep-rooted network also allows the Amish to specialize. One family might grow an abundance of apples, another may be known for beekeeping and honey. A third might have a talent for raising turkeys. Barter and trade replace currency, and goods are exchanged based on trust and fairness, not profit. This system drastically cuts down on cash expenses and creates a grocery ecosystem where diversity, abundance, and generosity thrive. What most people solve with debit cards or credit, the Amish solve with loyalty and love. In their world, food isn't just nourishment, it's a community bond, and every shared jar or loaf strengthens that bond while trimming the grocery bill to nearly zero. Raising their own meat, the Amish farm-to-table reality. When it comes to protein, the Amish don't depend on grocery stores filled with shrink-wrapped mystery meat. They raise it, every chicken, cow, pig, turkey, and even the occasional goat. Meat isn't something purchased weekly in neatly labeled styrofoam trays. It's something raised with intention, slaughtered with reverence, and stored with wisdom. This isn't just a lifestyle preference, it's a massive economic advantage. By raising their own animals, the Amish eliminate the largest cost on the average American's grocery bill: meat. And they don't stop at meat. They also produce milk, eggs, and even butter and cheese from their own livestock. Chickens are the most common. Almost every Amish household has a chicken coop filled with egg layers and meat birds. Fresh eggs are collected daily, and once a bird reaches the right weight, it's butchered, cleaned, and either cooked fresh or preserved through canning, freezing, in some cases with propane-fueled ice boxes, or curing. Pigs are raised for bacon, sausage, ham, and lard, with absolutely nothing wasted. Cows provide not just beef, but gallons of fresh milk that become cheese, yogurt, sour cream, and more. Butchering days are intense but sacred. Entire families or neighbors often gather to process multiple animals, making the work lighter and the reward greater. This do-it-yourself meat model requires hard work. Yes, feeding, caring for, and butchering livestock is no small task, but the savings are enormous. Where modern families might spend hundreds of dollars each month on meat and dairy, the Amish spend sweat and time, and in return, they receive food that is healthier, cleaner, and virtually free after the initial feed costs. In short, their grocery bills shrink, while their food quality and self-sufficiency skyrocket. And it's all done on land they tend themselves, with animals they know by name, and a deep gratitude for every bite that ends up on the table. Foraging, hunting, and nature's grocery store. Beyond the garden, barn, and pantry, the Amish also look to nature to supplement their food supply, for free. Foraging and hunting are age-old traditions that the Amish still practice with skill and reverence. In spring and summer, families venture into nearby woods and fields to harvest wild edibles like dandelion greens, purslane, ramps, wild onions, elderberries, morel mushrooms, blackberries, and even medicinal plants like yarrow and plantain. What most people walk past as weeds, the Amish recognize as nutrition. These wild foods aren't just added to meals for variety. They're essential parts of their yearly diet and cost absolutely nothing but the time it takes to gather them. Autumn is prime hunting season, and Amish men often hunt deer, rabbits, squirrels, and wild turkey to help feed their families. Venison is prized for its lean protein and versatility. It's often ground for burgers, dried into jerky, or canned in mason jars for long-term storage. Nothing is wasted. Bones are boiled for broth, hides are sometimes tanned for leather, and organs are used in traditional recipes. Hunting isn't sport to the Amish, it's stewardship, survival, and savings rolled into one. Fishing is also common in communities located near lakes or rivers. Trout, catfish, and bluegill are caught, cleaned and cooked fresh or smoked for preservation. It's not unusual to see children learning how to cast a line or gather edible nuts and berries with the same seriousness that others reserve for schoolwork. And while much of modern society has forgotten how to live off the land, the Amish have kept this wisdom alive, handing it down like sacred scripture. Every foraged berry, every hunted deer, every wild green is a grocery item subtracted from the bill and added to their deep sense of self-reliance. In the Amish view, if God placed food in the wild, it's a gift worth receiving, respectfully and without a receipt.